it's time to get into the details because clearly there's something afoot. So start us off and explain, under the Constitution, what are amendments, what are conventions, how can they happen, and what does the Constitution say about amending the Constitution?
Well, Article 5 of the Constitution provides two basic methods for amendment. First, if two-thirds of both houses of Congress agree, then Congress can propose amendments to the Constitution, and those would go out for ratification by the states. Or, if two-thirds of the states apply to Congress, then Congress shall call a convention for proposing amendments. And those amendments would go out to the states, and the ratification process in both situations would be by the legislatures of three-fourths of the states or by conventions that were called in three-fourths of the states, depending on which mode of ratification might be proposed by Congress. This convention, which was held in 1787, so it had a limited purpose, similar to what the argument is today for this convention of the states, for the purpose of amending the Constitution that we now have. Well, what actually happened? They proposed an entirely new Constitution. The final article said that the ratification of the conventions of only 9 states, not the 13 total, but only 9, would be sufficient for the establishment of the new Constitution among the states that were ratifying it. This idea that somehow a constitutional convention called to amend the Constitution could not propose one way or the other an entirely new Constitution is simply false.
Right. Well, let me bring up a couple of reasons why they might want to change the Constitution in wholesale manner. For many decades, we've made commitments as a country to the citizens, for example, Social Security or military pensions.
Right.
Or we've issued lots of debt to creditors, and we're liable for all those things. Now, we've gone through a period which I describe as a financial coup d'etat, where literally trillions have disappeared from the federal government. And, no one wants to be liable for them. The way you get out of being liable for them, you can have a constitutional convention and tear the thing up. So to me, any kind of constitutional convention or change is basically a clever way of abrogating your contracts. Okay, so here's the financial coup d'etat. The financial coup d'etat is you globalize. While you're globalizing, you bubble the housing market and some other markets. You suck a great deal of money out of the economy, including the, $11+ trillion going missing. You do it with massive amounts of securities fraud, both government securities and particularly mortgage securities. When the bubble bursts, you get the taxpayers to basically refinance all the debt out and stick it on the taxpayer's balance sheet. And then you come along and say, I want to balance the budget, and the $50 trillion you've stolen is off the table, and you say, okay, well, we're going to privatize all the assets, and you do a fire sale and pick them up at 10 cents on the dollar with all the money you've stolen. Now, no one noticed as the money started to go missing, and I was jumping up and down and screaming about all the different things that were happening. No one noticed. You know why? Because they were talking about Monica Lewinsky.
Mm-hmm.
Monica Lewinsky was the air cover. And if you look at a lot of what's going on in Washington around the press versus Trump, it looks like Monica Lewinsky too. And that's why I'm so concerned about the Constitutional Convention, because I think we're looking at the big third leg of that financial coup d'etat.